Taurus, happy November 2017. Hope everybody is doing fantastic. This is Dark Dove Tarot. As you know, I pre-shuffle, but I'm going to add a little energy to the cards before we get started. I hope you're doing great coming into November. Again, this is a general read, so check your sun, moon, and rising, as some months those may resonate with you more than others. This is also a read based on love, generally for singles, since those are the people who, you know, tend to reach out asking questions, wanting private reads, subscribing, etc. So, and all of that is greatly appreciated. Any likes, subscribes, comments, you know, I'm doing these face down because I asked you guys last month if you liked them face down or face up, and I was told by the people who commented, in fact, everybody who commented on it said face down for the element of surprise. So I'm going back to that this month. Again, this is for singles and anybody looking to reconcile. I generally touch base mostly on singles, but I do add to reconciliation as well. So again, any likes, comments, subscribes. If you want a private read, the information is in the description. All right, Taurus, let's get started for November. I'm going to pull a theme of the month card as well. All right, let's see what's going on. Again, I hope you guys are great. Let me just shuffle these one more time, and I'll pull a theme of the month, and we'll get started. All right. And you have the Ace of Swords, which is great. This is all about power, clarity, logic. So whether you're single or looking to reconcile, this says this is something you're going to come into, something you're going to work on, something you're going to own and have within yourself throughout the month of November. So definitely a very positive card to be your theme, because it really is about just kind of harnessing the power that you have inside, seeing it clearly, seeing things clearly, seeing people clearly, and then manifesting that into what you want. So the first card you have is always your current position coming into the month. Okay? And you have the Knight of Swords. All right, so Taurus, immediately this tells me that you are, if you're single, you're approaching dating kind of like, hey, I'm tired of the games. I just want somebody who's going to tell me the truth. I'm being honest here. Like, you're putting yourself out on the line. Like, maybe the past few months have been chaotic dating. I mean, when is it not chaotic right now? Online dating, meetup groups, it's all, you know, dating nowadays is just, can be just crazy. I know firsthand experience. But this is telling me right out of the gate that you are, you're kind of approaching it differently. You're not being soft about it. And not that you're not being harsh, although earth signs definitely, you know, not that you're confrontational. Sometimes you can be, especially Virgos, actually, but not that, but you're just direct. You're kind of like, hey, I told you what I wanted. I expect you to take that at face value, which is actually really good. You're not sugarcoating anything. Some people are not used to that, especially in the dating world. Some people are used to hearing, you know, oh, I'll do this and it's going to be butterflies and roses. And you're kind of like, cut the crap. What are we talking about here? I told you what I want. I know what I want. I've put myself out there saying what I want, and either you're getting responses. It's not that you're not getting responses. It's just either people don't know how to handle your directness necessarily, or they're still trying to feed you lines, and you're just going, no, like there's no reason to, because I'm being completely clear here. So I'm looking for somebody who's doing the same thing. You're almost like, I'm here to meet somebody special, so don't waste my time. And I feel like some of you are coming into the month a little direct, like, hey, this is what's going on, which I think can be very positive benefit, because sometimes you do have to weed through all of the BS in order to find what you want. And I just get the feeling, Taurus, you're coming into this month just like annoyed, fed up, like, hey, I know what I want. Where is he or she? What's going on? I'm telling it like it is, and I'm not exactly finding what I want, but we still have a lot of cards to get through, so let's see what's going to happen. If you're looking to reconcile, this is you being very, not confrontational or hostile. Okay, a little bit confrontational or hostile. This is you saying, it's very similar to what I said to the singles, like, you're saying, I told you what I wanted up front. I told you that I care about you. I think I'm showing you. So what else are you needing from me? Because I feel like some of you have separated because maybe they have trust issues, or maybe they have other issues. You know, I feel like some of you are, I hear somebody in the back of my head saying, you know, but it's not good enough, but you're not telling me enough, but you don't show me you love me enough, but you're not, and you're kind of like, I told you I care about you, I told you I love you, I told you I'm being honest with you, I told you I'm just being with you. But I think there's a disconnect here, and Taurus, I don't necessarily think it's your disconnect, but you're also coming into the month fed up, which is coming across as like kind of just cutting the ties right now and saying, no, I feel like I'm being very honest and open and forthright with you, and you're not taking what I'm saying at face value. And I think Taurus is kind of like, you know, I'm not going to jump through hoops. I've made it very clear. And it's almost to the point where maybe you feel like they're being oversensitive, or they're accusing you of cheating, or they're accusing you of things that you're not doing. Some of you may be doing it, but I get the sense the majority of you aren't. And remember too, sometimes when people accuse us of things, it's because they're guilty of those things themselves. And not all the time, but you know, that is something to think about. You may just need a break, Taurus, and for some of you, that's what you're taking right now. The next card you have is any internal factors. So anything that you're feeling or thinking coming into the month of November. And you have the Knight of Coins or Pentacles here. So the Knight is very much an earth sign. So here you are, Taurus. Whenever I get this, or like the Eight of Wands for any of the earth signs, it's very interesting because this is you being very hardworking. So if you're single, you're putting work into your dating life, right? But you're also focusing on work, which is good. And earth signs are notorious for this, okay? There's nothing wrong with it. But when things don't necessarily go your way, or you're not happy with the outcome, you put more energy into everything else, which then again can come across as maybe you're being direct and telling people what you want, but then you're coming across like, well, I'm really busy right now, or I've got a lot going on. And again, not a bad thing, but I get that a lot for Virgo, and I laugh. And I think they're starting to get my sense of humor about it, because whenever things kind of get tough in an earth sign reading, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, I always see these like very hard-working cards, you know, pull up. Now, this could be too, Taurus, that you're working very hard at meeting the right person, and so you're being very methodical, and you're thinking about things, and you're being very cautious. And that ties into it too, because maybe you're saying, hey, this is what I'm looking for, but you're coming across kind of like you're checking off a list, if that makes sense. So just be careful with it. I think it's really important that you're putting yourself out there on what you want, because you're kind of saying that what you see is what you get. So you either have to like me for who I am, because I'm not going to be somebody I'm not, and then all of a sudden you're going to think I did this, like pulled this magic act and was BSing you the whole time. And I think that's really commendable of Taurus and any of the earth signs, because you really aren't, there's no like, you know, you're not putting on a facade, you're not playing any games, but sometimes it can come across as a little harsh. And here you're like, it's almost like when you go on dates, you're like, hi, I'm interested in meeting somebody who is this, this, and this. This is what I'm looking forward to in my life and my goals. And then maybe they're texting you at night, or they're texting you during the day because they're interested in you, and you're kind of like, hey, I'm busy, I'm working. So just be careful there. You know, that even though you say that you want something, you're not representing it like you're almost too busy to get it, if that makes sense. Because you're so hardworking, and when you're kind of like annoyed about something, you tend to put, you know, all your effort into, you know, work or making money, which is good, but it can come across as you being distracted as well. If you're looking to reconcile, you're definitely putting all your energy into work, kids, anything else you have going on. This is somebody who is saying, you know what, I don't have time for the games, I don't have time to play around here, I am going to work hard, I'm going to be dutiful, I'm going to, you know, stick to my routine, I'm going to get things done, and if you want to come around and we can talk, that's great, but right now I'm like, I've let this interfere in what I have going on in my life already, and I'm not going to continue to repeat myself or to, it's not, because it's like, it's almost like this person you're dealing with is almost so insecure that it's like interfering with any potential healthy relationship you guys could have, because the insecurity is taking it to the point where they're now like backlashing on you. Maybe they did have a hard time. Maybe they've had people who've cheated on them. Maybe they've had people, and since Taurus is not like that lovey-dovey, gushy, sometimes you can be, but it's not like your main character. And so some people who maybe tend to be a little more insecure need this overly, oh, everything's wonderful and I love you so much, and roses. And you're kind of like, okay, I give that a little bit, but my words and, you know, and my dignity and what I say, I stand true to, and that should be enough. So I think you're kind of working nose to the grind as well, because that's where you can focus and not have these interfering thoughts of, I miss this person, we have a really good connection, what do I do? Because even if you're tired of it, you're still hurt. Everybody's hurt, or you wouldn't be wondering, you know, what your ex is up to. The next card you have is your distant past. So over the past few years, generally this is like really distant past. You know, sometimes 10 years, sometimes childhood. And you have the Three of Cups. So this, and I always read this for anybody who's single and looking to reconcile, the same, because this is generally not the person you're wondering about reconciling. Every once in a while somebody says it is, and I get that, but this is generally past relationships, anything that was good or bad concerning those relationships. And this tells me that a lot of you had relationships that were not serious in the way that you wanted. Like you wanted marriage, or you wanted kids, or you, and there, it seems like all the relationships were built around certain things. I want to say like having fun or partying, or, but not necessarily that. Also, like some of the relationships were like, hey, we're both really fit health fanatics, working out at the gym all the time. And then you realize like one of you got tired of that type of a lifestyle and things just didn't fit. It's almost like the people that you were meeting and dating were at a point in your life where you were taking on a new adventure, or you were doing something. And so nothing really stuck. And a lot of it too with the three says, hey, you know, we're just fun, we're just friends, we're just having a good time. And so I feel like some of you Taurus in the past, you've just met people and it doesn't grow into what you truly want. And maybe you lived that way, you know, throughout college and through different times in your life. And you're kind of going, okay, I don't want to get back to that. So that's why I'm coming across this month like, hey, let's get down to business. And both of these, because you're saying, I'm done with, I'm looking for something a little stronger. I don't want to play the game anymore. I'm not looking for a friend with benefits. I'm not looking for somebody just to screw around with. And that hasn't worked for me in the past. So I'm looking for something sincere. And though you've met really good people and you've had good relationships, and it's not like everything's been negative, although some of you've had some really negative relationships. Because I get like somebody like people screaming at each other, like fighting, like screaming, just chaos. But yeah, it's like, it's really negative. But but that's with any sign, right? I mean, I could say that to every single sign, and somebody's going to say, hey, yeah, because it's a general read. And you know, a lot of us have had times where you've had relationships and they're screaming. Just something very vocal came out where it was just like constant yelling. And it was almost like you stayed together with them because of the excitement of the drama, of the yelling, of the chaos. You'd never been in a relationship that got that hot, that heated and that hot, to where it was almost like you enjoyed that for a blip, because it was like, whoa, he or she really cares about me, because they're like insane about it. But then you got tired of it and it didn't work. So this is just telling me that Taurus is kind of saying, hey, I want to approach things a little differently. You might be approaching it like not harsh again, but more just reality check. And so, you know, you might have to loosen that up a little bit, but you don't have to. At the end of the day, if it's not going to work for you and you know it's not going to work for you, it's just not going to work for you. And if you're looking to reconcile, it's the same thing, whether you're single or looking to reconcile. I mean, I think you're both just saying enough is enough. Like, I'm here, I'm being open and honest, I'm being Taurus. Who the heck are you being? The next card you have is your immediate past. So over the past few weeks, past month or two, and this is swimmingly, it goes along with it perfectly, because this is Six of Swords, okay? And this is saying you're abandoning, you're retreating, you're moving on, you're leaving. So whatever this was, maybe it was somebody you were talking to, if you were single, you were, you know, meeting somebody, you were hanging out with somebody, and you thought maybe there was a chance here, and it turns out they're flimsy, they're flaky, they're just not serious, and you thought you were heading in one direction. Maybe you were dating one or two people, and you thought, you know, one of them, you really had your eye on one of them, and you were saying, this is what I want, and they were going, yeah, me too, and then when it came down to it, that's not what they wanted. So this six is saying that you're going, nope, like, no more Mr. Nice Guy or girl, and not that you're not being nice, that's not what I'm saying, but you're putting on your game face, but not, again, in a facade. You're not putting on, you're not pretending to be somebody you're not. In fact, you're being extremely Taurus right now, which is, you know, cautious and hardworking. Like I said, like this guy right here, but this is you saying, okay, I'm not here to appease people. So if you're single, you're getting away from however you were doing it. So if you were dating online, maybe you're doing meetup groups because it's easier to do it face-to-face. Or if you're doing meetup groups, maybe you're doing it online because you have more options and you can kind of scale through people quicker that might have more potential that you think that you could weed out better online. Whatever it is here, you're deciding to go places. This is also a travel card. So it could be too that you're, you know, traveling to different states and different countries, and not necessarily for love, but it could be that because of work, or maybe you've decided to take on some position where you're going to travel more, and so you're kind of like, you know, I'll still date and whatnot, but I have a lot going on, kind of putting your nose to the grind, and then it turns out it's going to take you different places, and that may just be what you need. You never know. Maybe that's where you'll find that person. If you're looking to reconcile, I think that's exactly what you did. I think that fits perfectly into what I was saying here, because this is saying, raising the white flag, like, I give up, I surrender, I am not doing this until you can figure out what you want from me. I have given you the love that you think you need. Now, if they're coming back to you and you feel like communicating with them, you know, you need to listen too, because all of us can feel like we're presenting something in a way that we think is satisfactory, but it may be different for somebody else. Like, for instance, I know that Virgos, for me personally, when I've dated Virgos, they will say something like, oh, I really care about you, I love you. Like, one of my best relationships was with a Virgo, and he actually had a Taurus moon, but it was like, he would say that, and then it was like actions speak louder than words. So just listen. I mean, and frankly, this person seems like they have other things that they need to get a hold of too. Maybe they need counseling. Maybe they need some sort of reassurance. You know, maybe they could come to you now and logically say to you, hey, this is what I need from you. Because I kind of feel like somebody's whining and upset, and you're kind of like, I'm done with this, but nobody's actually saying, this is what I need, and this is what I need. So if you could break it down, you might be in a better place. But right now it looks like you're kind of leaving the situation to see, you know, what it is, to get this logic, to get this clarity, to see what's going on, to kind of figure out if, am I seeing things clearly? Because I think some of you are kind of going, am I crazy? I mean, I've told him or her, I really care about them. I told them this, but why aren't they getting it? And I think you have to take a step back to kind of understand what's going on. The next card you have is your distant future. So over the next few months through the end of the year. And you have the Ace of Wands. And the Ace of Wands is about somebody who's passionate and has energy and creative. So it's very interesting because all of a sudden you're going to do like a switch, right? We'll see what goes on for the rest of the month. But this definitely says over the next month or two, and you have aces here, which are all about clarity and figuring things out. But the Ace of Wands, the thing I like about this card is that this represents a passion and an energy and an enthusiasm. So Taurus, it may just be that you just have met some crap people and now somebody's going to come into your life, and we'll see like what the outcome is. But this kind of feels like, because you're putting it out there, at first I think you're going to get a reaction like, whoa, you know, slow your roll. You're kind of like, you know, you're being really direct and it's almost off-putting, but somebody's going to eat it up. This right here says somebody's going to eat it up, and she's got a baby in her arms, so you could be moving on to something, you know, traditional marriage, traditional kids, you know, family values, that type of stuff. But the Ace is all about very creative, feeling very passionate. So I think it may just be, Taurus, that you need to meet somebody who's going to awaken that passion again in you. And you're going to see, again, this logic of, okay, so I can have both, the best of both, right? I can have that directness, but I can also feel that love again and feel that heart energy again and feel that fire again with the right person. And I think, Taurus, that's kind of what this is saying, is you're just not meeting the right people. And it kind of feels like no matter what way you're presenting yourself, whether you're going to be lovey-dovey or whether you're going to be this guy saying, you know, hey, this is me, there you go. You're just not getting the outcome you want. But this is saying it's coming, and it's actually very passionate, which may be what you need right now. If you're looking to reconcile, this is also about feeling that energy, feeling. So either, there's two scenarios here, because this doesn't really sway me one way or the other. And these cards aren't saying that you're not going to reconcile. It says you're tired of the BS, right? And so this card is saying either they're going to get their act together, you're going to like have a conversation with them and say, what is it you need from me? Let me help you figure this out. Let me do what I can to kind of, you know, give you what you need. And I know I'm going to get emails from Taurus saying, I have given him or her what they need. I get that. But I was kind of giving Libra a hard time in their read, because sometimes, and I titled their read, Suck It Up, Buttercup, because sometimes you can point the finger and you can do the blame game. I did this, I did that. And one of you's going to suck it up. Or you can both miss each other. You can both have this connection, and you can ruin it and spend more time stressing about it than one of you just saying, you know what, I don't think I was wrong here, but I'm going to suck it up and I'm going to make, you know, I'm going to have the communication. So either you're going to communicate and you're going to find that passion again, and maybe there's things that they're lacking, like they want to have kids, they want to get married, and maybe you kind of knew that was in the future, but you were like, well, I've got to get things straight, because the one thing about Taurus and Earth signs is that if the money's not in the bank, we're not doing it type. I mean, that's kind of how you guys roll, and which is very good, but not everybody. A lot of people are a little more fly by the seat of their pants, or a little more, you know, they'll take the, you know, we live every day to, you know, live every day to the fullest, and they take that like, hey, drain your bank account every day, which isn't a bad thing. Everybody's gone through different points in their life where they've spent too much, or they bought things they shouldn't, or whatever. But what I'm saying is, you may find out it's something to where they're just saying, look, I thought we were going to get married at some point. We've been together this amount of time. Or I really want to think about having kids, and it just seems like it's not something you want to. So maybe have that line of communication to get where you want. Because I would say, hey, this ace is like a new beginning with somebody else. But I really don't feel that. And it's interesting, Taurus, you're the only sign so far this month who's really gotten a positive, you know, vibe of reconciliation. All right, the next card you have is your immediate future. So over the next few weeks and throughout November. And you have the Two of Coins, or Pentacles. And this is about change, priorities, balancing things out. So if you're single, there's a change coming. That's how you're going to get here, because something is going to change. So either you're still going to have this type of attitude, and you're going to meet somebody who likes that directness, who's like, hey, look, I've weeded through the BS myself. You telling me what you want, I'm telling you what I want, and you're going to be like, woohoo. Or you're going to meet somebody who's maybe a little more romantic or fuzzy, warm, butterfly feelings, and for whatever reason, it's just going to, it's going to be like a magnet, like two opposites attract almost. So it's going to be good, but it's going to put you out of your comfort zone a little bit, because there's going to be some sort of change where you're like, normally I wouldn't fall for this person, or, you know, maybe they make you laugh a little more than you normally do, or they find your directness endearing. It's like one of their favorite things about you. So this person is going to kind of take you by surprise, but it's going to inhibit a change of some sort. And it's also about priorities, because like I said, you guys are workhorses, right? But I think you're also going to realize, like, there's more to the dating scene. You can't go from, okay, I'm dating, to I'm working really hard and so I don't have time, to, okay, I want to meet somebody amazing but I'm working really hard. So I think you're going to kind of go, okay, what are my priorities? What do I want? And how do I get there? It's going to be more of like a work-life balance. So work and life balanced. If you're looking to reconcile, there's a change here too. And I think again, that the possibility of reconciliation is huge, but there's going to have to be a change in this person, and there's going to have to be a change in you. And I know, again, we could do the blame game and pointing the finger, but it may be that they're going to say to you, look, you say you love me, but, you know, I think about you all day. And you're like, well, I think about you all day too. And they're like, yeah, but then I text you and I don't hear from you, or whatever. So it may even just be like, they want an extra text today, or, you know, something that you don't think about it because you are so logical, and because you do utilize that, you know, well, I say this, so I expect you to think this. Not that you expect them to think it, but I say this, so I expect you to take my word at face value. And they're kind of like, hey, you know, an extra kiss, you know, an extra night of like, hey, bedroom time, or whatever. I just think you might find that they're going to go, you know, there's something, like, you're going to find that maybe they love you even more. Maybe you knew that they loved you or they cared about you, but you didn't realize that they wanted, like, babies, or they wanted to get married. And maybe you've cared about them like that, but they maybe needed you to make the first move or say something, or they were worried that you didn't want that, so they didn't speak up, or maybe you weren't sure if you wanted that, but then you realized. So there's so many scenarios here, right? But I just feel like there's going to be like a shift, and it's going to be like, whoa, a slap in the face, like, oh, so we actually kind of want the same things, but nobody wanted to say anything, and their way of dealing with it is getting on your nerves. So the next card you have is any future external factors. So anything tangible happening throughout November. It could be the first day, the last day, up and down throughout the month. And you have the Four of Cups. Four of Cups is about being frugal. This is about somebody who is almost miserly. And so for if you're single, this is saying, like, this is directly opposite of this. This is saying, don't do this too much. Be clear. Say what you want, but be happy. Have a smile on your face. Look, dating's hard. The dating life sucks. I get it. I know, like I said, I could tell you so many experiences, and I'm sure, I mean, we could all share for days things that we've been through. Sometimes we approach it with that matter of fact, you know, I paid for the site, or I'm spending my time at these meetup groups, and then I got to deal with this crap, like, I'm done. But this is saying, okay, got it. The universe gets it. You want to meet somebody who makes you feel like this, like amazing. And notice how the color difference too. Like, just this card right here to me just feels like a totally different energy than like this. And so I think that you're going to approach it this way, but this is kind of you realizing that if you do meet somebody who makes you feel good, or they make you laugh, or they make you forget about, like, how miserable the dating has been, or how you feel like you're just not finding anybody genuine. This is saying, when you meet that person, whether it's going to be this month or next month, or when you're going to meet them, don't do this. Don't throw away your chances. Don't be like, don't have it like a checklist. Don't have it. Be a little more, open your heart a little more. Don't be possessive on what you want. Like, this is what I want. This is what I'm looking for. Understand that it takes two people to build a relationship. So try and be a little more open-hearted, because somebody's coming that they're going to make you feel good and feel different, but you're going to have to loosen up a little bit, okay? If you're looking to reconcile, it's very much the same. Let's say they come to you and they say, but I have trust issues and whatever, and you say, I understand that, I know that, like, we've been here, we've done that, I can't, like, what else do you want? I think instead of saying, you know, okay, got it, like, we've been through this, this isn't, it's gonna have to be more of a, like, look at the ship sailed, right? So it's got to be less of a, the ship has sailed, we've been here, done that, and more of a, how do we bring the ship back? Like, what do you need from me? I think you're going to have to get there, Taurus, like, nitty gritty. What do you need from me? And this is what I need from you. Because you need to be able to say, too, like, I'm sorry you have trust issues, so I can do this to make you feel better, but I need you to stop this. Because if you accuse me of this, or if you make me feel like this isn't going to work for me either. Because it's two-way street, Taurus. And, you know, somebody is whining in my ear, and I don't know who it is. Somebody, one of you is dealing with somebody who's just, it's like whining, and it's like, there's constantly an issue. Like, their health, they're constantly thinking something's wrong with them, but like they're getting a clean bill of health, or like they're just wah, 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 and then they're like bringing you into it, and you're finally like, I'm done. But you love them, and there's a connection here, and it feels like there's something underlying. So I would figure out what that is before the ship completely sails. The next card you have is anything external. So over the next, you know, few weeks throughout the month of November internal, that will affect you emotionally. So this is internal, inside, this is external. So communicate. But if you're single here, this is saying that, you know, throughout November, it could be 1 day of the entire month, or it could be 10 days of the entire month. You're going to feel this Five of Swords, and this is going to be like defeat. So I feel like before you hit this, you're going to feel defeated. And I actually feel like you're kind of coming into November that way. And so you're going to get out of November feeling better. Now, we'll see what the outcome card is here. But to get here, you obviously, somewhere along the lines, your spirit has to lift a little bit. And I think this is you coming into the month feeling like, you know, it's lies, nobody's telling me the truth. And I feel, and okay, so it could be for one or two of you, but some of you Taurus have been dating, and you've really put some energy into the people you're dating. Like, you've been a good person to date. You've been reliable. You've been honest. You've been nice. You've been, some of you have been charming and you know, spent a lot of time and attention on people that you thought would be good. And you're kind of feeling like you're blindsided. Like, it's a Pyrrhic victory. Like, you thought we were really getting somewhere, really going somewhere. And it turns out they're like, hey, the grass is green on the other side. So for anybody who's single and dating, it feels like that's why you're coming into this month. And I'm thinking we're on the same page here, and it's not happening. So what the heck is going on? I'm tired of it. So you're going to feel this, but you cannot let this, you know, block you from getting here. If you're looking to reconcile, this is about feeling defeated. And I feel like you're coming into the month the same way that the singles are, because you are feeling like giving up. I mean, he's sticking his tongue out. This is you kind of going, you know, okay, I'm done. You know, screw you. I don't know what you want from me. I've done everything I can. And so you've got to be careful not to have this defeatist attitude as well, because I don't see that being the future for either of you, like, at all. All right, so the next card you have is your hopes and fears for the outcome, how you're going to be feeling towards the end of the month. Very interesting. And you have the Nine of Swords, which immediately tells me that this kind of anger or irritation or annoyance that you come into and that you kind of feel in the beginning of the month, at the end of the month, it turns into like anxiety and almost like introversion or fear. So if you're single, you're going, wait, I think I might have met somebody. I think I may have met somebody. I think somebody may take me out of my comfort zone, but it's going to be good. And all of a sudden your annoyance turns more into fear of like, whoa, I'm actually gonna, like, at the end of the month, you're gonna be meeting some pretty interesting people. And you're gonna kind of see this clarity of, okay, this works and this doesn't work. If I approach it this way, it works. If I approach it this way, it works, or it doesn't work. And you're gonna, this 9 is saying, and it's interesting because this is normally can be kind of a negative, like, this is you introverting back into yourself going, you know, this sucks, I'm done, kind of a depression card. But I actually feel like this is kind of playing against your anxiety of like, I really want to meet somebody. Hey, now I'm starting to get interest in people. Now it's like the opposite. Now I'm not annoyed. Now I'm more like, I don't know what to do. Like, it's been a while since I met somebody that I am this attracted to, or that I feel like I click with. Or maybe you're going to meet somebody that you guys click so fast, you don't know what the heck to do. You're like, I don't know what the hell is going on here. And it's very, the energy is twisting here to where it's like almost an anxious, but it's going to be like a butterfly anxious that you're just not used to. If you're looking to reconcile, I worry that part of this worry and anxiety and fear and introversion is because you say something or you do something to push that person further away. And I hate to say that, Taurus, and I know some of you are going to be like, no. I did, again, it's general. But this immediately says that it went from you're annoying the crap out of me to maybe you say something harsh. Maybe coming into the month, you're like, hey, because he can be swift and he can cut deep. So you may just be like, I give up on you, I'm done, whatever. And that may be how you're really feeling, but you're really, or how you feel in that moment, but you're really not. Because there's some sort of connection here that's pretty deep, or you wouldn't have stuck through some of the stuff that you guys have been through. But this is saying all of a sudden you're going to be going, wait a minute. Maybe they're not going to talk to you. Maybe they're not communicating with you. Maybe they drop off. Maybe you're, I don't know. So just be careful with that, because I think you can prevent that. Let's see what the outcome says, though. All right. Your outcome for the month is the 9 of Wands. All right. So I want to state right here that whenever I get double numbers, 9 and 9, in the outcome here, that number to me is significant. It happens in my own readings. It happens in private readings. So something is significant about the number 9 here, because it's either 9 days, 9 weeks, you know, I would hope not 9 months, but something is significant. It could be the 9th, November 9th, the 19th, the 29th. Something is significant with the 9 here, and you have Swords and Wands. So you could be dealing with, you know, an air sign here, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or you could be dealing with a fire sign here, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. I mean, but you have every sign that came up. The cups here represents obviously water, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, and then you have yourself, Earth, showing up a few times as well. So it could be any sign. But the 9s here are very significant. I don't know what it is about whenever I do reads, private reads for my friends, family, anybody. If I get a double number here, there's something significant about that day. Now, I like this card a lot more than I do this card, and luckily this is your outcome. The 9 of Wands, see how this person's wearing a mask, but they're not. That's the great thing about this card. This is not a mask. This is other people not seeing you for who you are, and then all of a sudden they see who the heck you are, and it's pretty amazing. So if you're single, this is saying you are capable. You have strength, stamina. You are getting here. So dating's going to pick up for you. Potential suitors are going to pick up for you, and somebody is coming in and they're going to reinforce this creativity. I'm going to start shuffling the cards because I'm going to do 2 clarifying cards, but somebody's coming in that's going to be pretty significant, or all of a sudden your dating life is going to shift in a way that, again, you haven't been putting on this mask. You've been coming in crystal clear, but people have been viewing you with this mask because either they think it's too good to be true, or they think, well, this person's grumpy or whatever. And now they're going to be seeing you like as this really capable, amazing person, because it's all about strength. And so somewhere along the lines, your dating life is going to turn dramatically into a very positive energy. And people are going to see you as this capable, this person who would be somebody they would feel very good about having a relationship with. Now, if you're looking to reconcile, this person is also going to start seeing you as somebody, for some reason, somewhere along the line, maybe they were like fearing your capability of being in a relationship, but you're going to all of a sudden have this overwhelming sense of strength of like, hey, we can do this. And we can get through this, and I'm here to help. Even if I have to be the bigger person 10 times, there's like something here where you're saying, okay, we've got this, I've got this. And I think maybe they come to you with a different attitude, or you're going to put together a strategy, because Taurus are very good at strategizing and very good energy for, again, being this dutiful, due diligent person. And you're going to put some sort of strategy together. Like, okay, I agree to do this if you agree to do this. And hey, we can make this happen and get to this. All right, so I'm going to clarify your outcome of the month. And you have the Lovers. All right, so I don't know. We could just end the read right now, right? All right, and then for your distant future, you have the Fool. So if you're single, somebody's coming in. It's very interesting because the Lovers is 9 reversed. I mean, it's technically a 6, but if you think about it, the first thing that popped in my head is if I reverse it, it's the 9. The Lovers is a good card. Obviously, it's about love, but the thing about this too is it's about building relationships. So it can be about falling in love. It can be about love at first sight, but this is more duality. This is pairing. This is values. Somebody finds you're dutiful, you're hardworking, endearing, like I said, but they make you laugh. They bring out a different side in you. So that's going to be very interesting. Pay attention to somebody who maybe you're kind of grumpy. You're thinking, oh, here they are, you know, lighthearted, you know, don't take anything serious. They're funny and jokester, whatever. But you're going to start to realize that they do take things serious. They work really hard. They have a good job. There's something here that all of a sudden you're going to be like, oh, well, they do have all of kind of the features I'm looking for and are very similar to me, but maybe they bring out a lighthearted side in you. So, I mean, what better way, Taurus, if you're single, to end this than a Lovers? And moving on directly to reconciliation, what better way to end this as well, other than pairing and dualities? I firmly believe, Taurus, if you put the work into it, be careful with your words, like I said, because there may be a point this month where you're like, oh, shoot, did I just screw this up? I may have just screwed something up. So just be careful with that. But this definitely, and you're the only sign, literally so far. I've done 7 reads. I haven't posted them all yet, but you're the only one so far that has gotten this positive of a reconciliation vibe. And then to clarify your distant future, you have the Ace here, which again is beginnings, because aces are always like beginnings, new, and the Fool is all about beginnings. So the Fool is somebody who has potential, but it's about being fearless and going out and getting what you want. It's basically saying you have the power to get what you want, and the potential is definitely there. So if you're single, this person that you're going to meet, and it could be the 9th of the month, it could be, you know, and you've got every sign on the board here. But the Lovers card's actually Gemini. So you're going to meet somebody that has major potential and you see new beginnings with. If you're looking to reconcile, I think this is new beginning with your relationship. There's some sort of change that's going on. It may be with them, and it may be with just the way you're approaching it, and you having to kind of control the situation and saying, if this is what you want, or if this is what I want. What it comes down to, Taurus, is this what you want? If it is, get it. Go after it. And I get it. Like, you may have done this, been there, but strategize. Something's got to be different. That's what the Fool is saying. Like, there's potential here, but you got to change what you're doing. You got to face it fearless and head on. But I really think it's going to be positive for both singles and anybody looking to reconcile. All right, Taurus, I will see you next month. Have a great November.